Mysterious ship arrived, then vanished. The Empire was doomed. HFY the galaxy was vast, and the Empire ruled it with pride. Millions of ships moved through the stars every day carrying soldiers, traders, and officials. The Empire had grown strong over centuries, and humans were considered weak. Many in the Empire laughed at the idea that humans could ever challenge their power. On the edge of Imperial space, a small patrol ship moved slowly between two moons. Commander Alan Brooks scanned the sensors, yawning as the same empty readings filled his screen. "Nothing unusual today," he said to Lieutenant Claire Hunter. "Same stars, same planets, same silence." Claire shook her head. "I wonder why the Emperor cares about this sector at all. There is nothing here but rocks and old satellites." Alan chuckled. "Maybe the Emperor wants to see that his empire reaches even here. Or maybe he just likes paperwork." They continued their patrol, ignoring the faint hum of the engines. Then, without warning, the sensors picked up a small anomaly.
Alan frowned. "Wait."
"Did you see that?" Claire leaned over the display. "It looks like a ship?" "But that's impossible. The readings don't match anything in the Imperial database." The ship appeared as a small dot, moving slowly in the void. Its shape was strange, unlike any Imperial design. It had smooth curves, almost organic, but there was no heat signature, no energy reading. It was as if it was not really there. Alan rubbed his eyes. "Send a visual scan." "I want to see this ship." The display flickered and showed a silhouette of the vessel. Claire gasped. "It doesn't look real. How can something exist in space and leave no trace?" Alan tapped his communicator. "Commander Tully, we have an unknown vessel in our sector. Sensors cannot identify it. Visual confirmation shows an unusual design." "Understood, Commander Brooks," came the reply. "Proceed with caution, but do not engage. Wait for instructions." Alan nodded.
"Understood." The small human ship did not react to the patrol. It moved slowly, scanning the nearby planets.
It made no attempt to hide, and it made no attempt to communicate. Alan felt a chill. "It's almost like it knows we are watching, like it is testing us." Claire frowned. "Do you think it could be a spy? A rebel ship?" Alan shook his head. "Rebels do not have technology like this. This is something else, something new." Far away, inside the mysterious ship, a human named Ethan Cole sat at a simple control station. His eyes were calm, his hands steady. Around him were other humans, including Emma Brooks and Lucas Gray. They looked at the displays, watching the Empire without fear. Emma leaned over. "Do you think they have noticed us?" Ethan smiled slightly. "Of course they have, but they cannot understand what they see." "They never will." Lucas Gray frowned. "Do you really think we can stop the Empire? They are so big, so strong. Millions of ships, billions of soldiers." Ethan shook his head. "We do not need to stop them yet. This is only the beginning. They will see us, and they will ignore us."
That is how we win. Back on the patrol ship, Alan and Claire continued to watch.
The human vessel moved slowly across the sector. Sensors could not measure its speed or its mass. Every calculation failed. It was as if the ship existed in a different layer of reality. Alan muttered, "I've never seen anything like this. Even the old legends do not describe ships like this." Claire frowned. "Legends? You mean those stories about humans?" Alan nodded. "Yes. The Empire always thought humans were weak. We built stories about how fragile and limited they were. But maybe those stories were wrong. Meanwhile, the mysterious human ship scanned an abandoned moon. Its instruments were silent, its movements precise. No weapons were drawn, no signals were sent. It simply observed." Ethan spoke softly. "This moon is important. It holds the key to their communications."
"Soon it will help us," Emma asked. "And they will notice it?"
They might, or they might ignore it.
Either way, it does not matter. The patrol ship received a sudden alert. "Commander, sensors indicate the unknown ship is vanishing. It is moving out of detectable space." Alan leaned forward, confused. "What do you mean vanishing?" Ships cannot just disappear. Claire shook her head. Maybe it is a cloaking device, or some kind of warp. Alan frowned. We will never know. It is gone. The ship blinked out of existence. The patrol crew stared at empty space, unsure if what they had seen was real. Alan sighed, reported. Tell the Empire that an unknown vessel appeared, and then vanished. No threat detected. End of report.
Claire looked uneasy. Do you think it was really nothing? Alan shook his head.
Nothing is never this strange, but the Empire will ignore it. They always do. Far away, the humans aboard the mysterious ship moved silently. They were calm, almost invisible to the universe around them. They did not celebrate. They did not fear. They only waited. Lucas Gray looked at Ethan. How long do we wait? Ethan replied, as long as it takes. The Empire is strong, but they are blind. They do not see us yet, but they will. And when they do, it will be too late. The human ship disappeared into the void, leaving no trace behind. The Empire's sensors were confused. Reports came to the Imperial capital. Scholars debated whether the sighting had even happened. Military officers shrugged and went on with their duties. On a distant planet, a young technician named Natalie Hughes read the report in a quiet office. She frowned. This does not make sense. A ship appearing and vanishing? Sensors cannot lie like that. Her friend, Marcus Lane, looked at her. Maybe it was a ghost. Or a glitch. Natalie shook her head. No, this is something real. Something bigger than us. Back in Imperial headquarters, the Emperor himself glanced at the report briefly. He waved it away. Humans are weak. Let them play in their small worlds. We have bigger concerns. Little did he know, the humans he dismissed were already watching, already planning, already moving in ways he could not imagine. The mysterious ship traveled through empty space, passing stars and nebulae. It did not hurry. It did not hide. It was as if the universe itself allowed it to exist unseen. Emma Brooks spoke quietly to Ethan. Do you think they will ever see us? Ethan smiled faintly.
Yes. One day, they will see everything.
But not yet. We move quietly, like shadows, because shadows are hard to fight. Lucas Gray added, and when they do see us, Ethan's eyes were steady. Then the Empire will learn the truth. Humans are not weak. They never were. For now, the galaxy went on as usual. Imperial fleets patrolled, merchants traded, and ordinary people slept under distant suns. The Empire believed it was secure, unchallenged, and eternal. But on the edge of its territory in a quiet sector, a small human ship waited. It had no flags, no weapons drawn, and no intention to reveal itself. It existed as a question mark in the Empire's mind, a silent reminder that the galaxy was not fully understood. Even as it moved, the humans on board prepared. They studied the Empire, learned its strengths, observed its weaknesses. Ethan Cole traced his finger over a star map. They think they are masters of the galaxy. Let them think. Let them feel safe. That will make it easier when the time comes. Emma nodded. It feels strange to watch them like this. They are so sure of themselves.
They are blind, Ethan replied.
Blindness is not weakness. It is opportunity. The ship continued on its quiet path. Planets, moons, and empty space passed by. It touched nothing, harmed nothing, and left no trace. Yet its presence was felt in small ways, a sensor flicker here, a minor glitch there. Nothing the Empire could notice, nothing it could explain. Alan Brooks and Claire Hunter returned to their patrol, unaware of the larger game unfolding. Maybe we should just log this and move on, Claire said. Alan nodded.
Yes. Move on.
Pretend it never happened. That is what the Empire always does. The mysterious ship vanished from sight, leaving the Empire to its arrogance. But somewhere deep in the void, the humans waited. They did not need to rush. The galaxy had its own pace, and so did they. Time moved on. The Empire believed it was safe. The humans aboard the quiet ship knew that safety was an illusion. and in the shadows of the stars the first hints of a larger story began to form.
They were not invaders. They were not soldiers.
They were observers, guardians, and planners, and soon the Empire would discover that what it ignored could not be ignored forever. For now, the galaxy remained unaware. The mysterious ship existed only as a whisper in the void, a silent mark that humans could move unseen. The Empire slept, confident, unchallenged, and blind. But beyond the stars, Ethan Cole smiled. He knew that the Empire's pride was its weakness, and one day that weakness would be revealed. The humans aboard the ship prepared for a long journey. They would travel across the edge of Imperial space, learning, observing, and waiting. They carried nothing except knowledge, skill, and patience. And in that patience, the seeds of the Empire's undoing were quietly planted. The Empire believed it was secure, but strange events began to ripple across its territory. Communication relays went silent for hours at a time. Fleet navigation systems failed without reason.
David shook his head. No.
This is bigger. It is everywhere. I have never seen anything like it. Whoever is behind this knows the Empire too well. Imperial scientists tried to trace the source of the failures. They followed signals, rechecked calculations, and even scanned empty space, yet nothing explained the strange events. One of the senior researchers, Dr. Felix Harmon, muttered to his assistant, "This does not fit any pattern we know. It is as if someone is controlling the universe behind the scenes." The Empire's arrogance remained, but unease spread. Fleet commanders whispered in private that the humans might be more clever than anyone expected. The Emperor still dismissed the reports, but fear had already begun to grow in the lower ranks. On the human ship, Ethan Cole called a meeting with Emma and Lucas. "The Empire is beginning to feel the consequences of its arrogance," he said. "Their systems fail, but they do not understand why. That is the advantage we have." Emma looked worried. "Are we doing enough? Some sectors are losing entire fleets. Civilian systems are affected too. We are causing disruption without firing a single shot."
Ethan shook his head.
"We are doing exactly what we need to do. Humans do not need weapons to defeat an empire built on fear and ignorance. Observation and knowledge are enough." Lucas Gray smiled faintly. "It is strange to think that they will never know who caused this. They will never understand until it is too late." Ethan nodded. "Yes. And by the time they understand, it will not matter. We are not here to kill. We are here to show that humans are not weak. That lesson will be learned, whether they like it or not." Back on Ventra, David Rowe received another alert. Thousands of ships in nearby sectors had lost power, and sensors had failed completely. "Angela, look at this," he said. "Entire fleets are frozen in place, yet no one knows why." Angela gasped. "It is like the universe itself is against the Empire."
David frowned. "Not the universe."
"Humans. Someone is doing this deliberately. And they are not attacking directly. They are using patience and knowledge as their weapon." In the Empire's capital, Admiral Peter Langley grew more worried. "We need to send scouts. We need to find the source of this failure, otherwise it will get worse." Lieutenant Mira Benson replied, "Sir, we have sent multiple probes. None of them have found the cause." Sensors return no results. It is as if whatever is behind this does not want to be detected.
Peter slammed his hand on the table. "Humans?"
Could it be the humans? Mira shook her head. "Humans are weak, sir. They cannot do this. It must be internal failure." Peter frowned. "I do not know anymore. Something is happening, and it is beyond our understanding." On the human ship, Ethan's team observed the Empire's panic silently. "Look at them," Ethan said. "They think they control the galaxy, yet they cannot even manage their own systems. This is the power of observation. This is the power humans have always had: patience, intelligence, and understanding." Emma looked at him. "Do you think they will ever see us as equals?" Ethan smiled faintly. "Perhaps one day, but not yet. For now we remain invisible. teaching them lessons they will never forget. Lucas Gray tapped the display showing multiple maps of the Empire's sectors. They are losing control fast. Some fleets are stranded. Communication relays are down. Supplies cannot reach planets. It is chaos. Ethan nodded.
Exactly. We do not attack.
We do not destroy. We simply exist, and the Empire collapses under its own arrogance. That is the difference between humans and them. Humans use knowledge, not fear, to shape the future. Back in the Empire, the Emperor still ignored warnings. Humans are weak, he repeated. No matter what happens, the Empire is safe. Yet behind the scenes, the human ship continued its quiet work. Satellites were scanned, old control stations analyzed, and hidden weaknesses in Imperial systems noted. Humans were everywhere, yet nowhere could they be detected. On a distant mining planet, a worker named Carl Hayes noticed strange changes. Machines stopped working for no reason. Power systems shut down intermittently. He whispered to his friend, "Something is wrong. This is too organized to be random." His friend, Linda Wells, nodded. "Maybe humans are doing this. Maybe they are smarter than we thought." Carl frowned. "Humans? No. They are not powerful enough. It must be something else." Linda shrugged. "We can hope, but I feel like someone is watching everything we do." In the Imperial fleets, chaos grew. Commanders tried to regain control, but systems failed in ways they could not predict. Ships collided, logistics failed, and panic spread among the ranks. Reports of failures were sent to the Emperor, but he dismissed them as minor glitches. Meanwhile, Ethan and his team observed every movement. "The Empire is blind," he said softly. "Their arrogance hides their weakness, and every mistake they make now brings them closer to the truth." Emma Brooks nodded. "It feels strange to see them fall without even fighting." Ethan smiled. "That is the power of humanity. We do not need war to win. We only need knowledge, patience, and understanding. The Empire will see our strength soon enough." Lucas Gray looked at a star map. "They think they control everything. They think humans are weak. And yet every step they take leads them into chaos." "Yes," Ethan said. "And when they finally notice us, they will understand that humans were never meant to be underestimated." Across the Empire, small disturbances continued. Some fleets lost power completely. Some planets could not communicate with Central Command. Entire regions were left isolated without explanation. Imperial leaders were baffled, angry, and fearful. Peter Langley sat in his office, staring at the reports. "This is impossible."
How can this happen without an enemy? Something is out there.
"Something is affecting everything."
Lieutenant Mira Benson looked at him. "Sir, perhaps we underestimated humans."
"Perhaps they are more capable than we believed." Peter frowned.
Impossible.
"Humans are weak. They cannot do this. But maybe they can. Maybe we were wrong." Meanwhile, the humans aboard the mysterious ship prepared for the next phase. Their movements were deliberate and calm. Ethan Cole studied the star maps, noting the Empire's blind spots. Emma Brooks checked systems and planned their next observations. Lucas Gray monitored communications, making sure nothing revealed their presence. "Soon," Ethan said softly, "the Empire will realize that what they ignored was always the most important. They will learn that humans are not weak, and that knowledge is more powerful than any fleet." Emma nodded. "And when they learn it, will they change?" Ethan shook his head. "Some will, many will not. But the lesson will be remembered. That is enough." The Empire continued, unaware that its strength was crumbling quietly. The humans remained invisible, moving like shadows across the galaxy. Their presence was a whisper, a subtle influence that left no mark except the faintest trace of disruption. Carl Hayes and Linda Wells watched their machines fail again. "Something is controlling everything," Carl said. Linda nodded. "And we will never know who." "Maybe the humans are watching, even now." Back on the human ship, Ethan Cole smiled faintly. "They do not understand yet, but they will. And when they do, they will know that humanity was never weak. That is the power of patience, observation, and understanding. That is what makes humans strong. Across the Empire, systems continued to fail. Fleets were stranded. Communications went dark. Civilian populations noticed the disturbances but could not explain them. Panic grew, but the Emperor remained blind. And in the quiet reaches of space, the human ship continued its journey, calm, precise, and unstoppable. It moved without fear, without weapons, without violence. Yet its presence was enough to begin the Empire's undoing. The humans waited. They observed. They prepared. And they knew that the Empire's arrogance would be its downfall even before the first shot was ever fired. The Empire was finally beginning to notice that something was very wrong. Across multiple sectors, fleets had stopped moving. Communication relays were down, and supply lines failed. High-ranking officials gathered in emergency meetings trying to find a cause, but nothing made sense. Admiral Peter Langley paced the floor of his command room.
All our calculations, all our technology, and we cannot explain it. Something is shutting down our systems from within.
How is this possible? Lieutenant Mira Benson looked uneasy. Sir, it is not just one sector. Entire fleets cannot move. Systems fail at the same time. Someone is manipulating our infrastructure in ways we cannot detect. Peter stopped and rubbed his forehead. Humans, it has to be them, but they are too small, too weak. How could a few humans affect the entire Empire? Meanwhile, far away in a hidden sector, the human ship moved silently. Ethan Cole studied star maps and Imperial reports transmitted by small, undetected probes. They are finally noticing patterns, he said softly. Their systems are failing, and they are starting to understand that this is not random. Emma Brooks glanced at him. Do you think they will find us? Ethan shook his head. No, not yet. Even if they search the entire galaxy, they cannot see us. Their arrogance blinds them more than ever. They will see results, but they will never understand the source. Lucas Gray pointed to a series of maps showing fleets frozen in space. They are losing control fast. Thousands of ships are stuck. Their supply chains are broken. Civilian worlds cannot communicate with capital systems. Ethan nodded. Exactly. And soon they will realize that this is no accident. It is too precise. The Empire built itself on fear and power, but it relied on human knowledge long ago. We are only showing them the weakness that was always there. Back in the Empire, Dr. Felix Harmon studied an ancient archive of technology. This cannot be, he muttered to his assistant. The designs of some Imperial systems, they were influenced by human engineering centuries ago. Some of our own software carries traces of human thought. His assistant, Talia West, frowned. Are you saying humans taught us this technology? Felix nodded slowly. Yes. And perhaps in doing so, they left weaknesses we cannot detect, patterns only they could understand. In the Imperial capital, Emperor Richard Durant still dismissed reports, but fear was beginning to spread among his council. Admiral Langley spoke again. Sire, our fleets are paralyzed. Communication is failing. Systems collapse for no reason. We cannot ignore it any longer. The humans are not what we believed.
The Emperor waved a hand. Humans are weak.
They cannot cause this. We are the Empire. No small race can challenge us. Peter Langley frowned. Sire, with respect, this is not small. Their influence has been hidden for centuries. They understand our systems better than we do. They are in every shadow of our empire. The Emperor's eyes narrowed.
Are you suggesting humans are stronger than we believed? Peter nodded slowly. Yes, sire.
They have always been underestimated. And now, they are proving that we were blind. Far away, Ethan Cole watched the Empire struggle. They are finally beginning to realize their mistake, he said quietly. They will see that humans were never weak. Their pride has blinded them, and their pride will fail them. Emma Brooks looked concerned. Do you think they can recover?
Ethan shook his head. No.
Recovery is impossible. Once an empire fails to understand a threat, it cannot regain its former strength. We do not attack them directly. We only reveal what was hidden, and they fall by their own arrogance. Lucas Gray smiled faintly.
They think strength comes from fleets and weapons, but knowledge is stronger.
Patience is stronger, and humans have both. In the Empire, fleets tried desperately to regain control. Commanders issued orders, but ships did not respond. Communication relays were dead, and sensors returned false data. Panic spread like wildfire. Officers shouted at each other, but no one knew what to do. Admiral Langley realized the truth. "They are inside our systems," he said to Mira Benson. "Not physically. Not with weapons. They are inside our networks, our satellites, our infrastructure, and we cannot stop them." Mira gasped. "Humans did this? All of them?" Peter Langley shook his head. "Not all of them. Just enough to teach us a lesson we will never forget." Meanwhile, the human ship moved closer to the Empire's core territories. Ethan Cole examined the maps, highlighting weak points and systems ready to collapse. "Soon, we will show them our final lesson," he said. Emma Brooks frowned. "Do you mean we will attack now?" Ethan smiled faintly. "No, attack is not needed. The Empire will destroy itself. We only need to reveal the truth. Humans are not weak." "That truth will be enough." Lucas Gray tapped a console. "They are beginning to suspect that their technology is flawed, that humans might have designed weaknesses long ago." "Yes," Ethan said. "The Empire was built on fear, but it relied on human knowledge. That knowledge contains the seeds of its undoing, and now those seeds are growing." Back in the Empire, Emperor Duran received another report. "Peter, what is happening?" he demanded. Peter Langley spoke carefully. "Sire, the Empire's systems are failing on a scale we cannot manage. Communications, fleets, supplies, all are affected. Humans are behind this. They have always been behind this in ways we never understood." The Emperor's face turned red with anger. "Impossible. Humans are weak." Peter shook his head. "They are not weak. They never were. And now we face the consequences." In the hidden reaches of space, Ethan and his team observed. "Do you see their panic?" he asked. "This is what we wanted. Not destruction, not war, only awareness. They finally realize humans are strong, clever, and patient." Emma nodded slowly. "And they are afraid," Ethan smiled. "Yes. Fear is the last thing to awaken in the proud. And now they are beginning to see the truth." Lucas Gray looked at the star maps, showing fleets frozen in orbit and systems unable to respond. "They have no idea where we are. They cannot find us, and yet they are already defeated in spirit." Ethan said softly, "They will never forget this lesson. Arrogance is a weakness humans learn to overcome. And now the Empire will learn it too." Across the Empire, fleets remained frozen. Communication failures spread further. Civilian planets tried to reach their governments, but no messages went through. Panic spread to ordinary citizens. The Empire's once solid control began to crumble. In the Emperor's Council, officials argued. "Send more fleets," one shouted. "Repair the systems," another demanded. Peter Langley shook his head. "It is useless. The humans we ignored are now in control, not by force but by knowledge. Every move they make is unseen, yet every move affects us. We cannot stop what we cannot see." Emperor Duran looked out the window at the stars, silent for the first time. The reality of the humans' power began to dawn on him. "All these years we underestimated them. We thought we were masters, but they were always stronger than we believed." Meanwhile, Ethan's ship moved quietly, observing every response. "This is only the beginning," he said. "The Empire's pride has blinded them for centuries. Now, they will understand that humans were never weak. They only ignored our strength." Emma Brooks looked at him. "And the Empire will fall?" Ethan shook his head. Not completely. Some parts will survive, but they will never be the same. Humans do not seek to destroy. We only seek to remind them of what they ignored for too long. Lucas Gray smiled. They thought strength was fleets and weapons. They never understood that knowledge, patience, and observation are stronger. In the Empire, fleets tried to regain control, but failure continued. Commanders were frustrated. Soldiers grew fearful. Citizens whispered rumors about humans and mysterious events. Panic spread quietly but steadily. Peter Langley finally realized the truth. The humans we dismissed, they were never weak. And we cannot fight them in the ways we are used to fighting. They do not fight the same way. They win with understanding, not violence. Ethan Cole watched the Empire's collapse unfold. This is the moment we have waited for, he said. They see our power not in weapons but in wisdom. That is the essence of humanity. That is what makes us strong. Emma Brooks nodded. And they still do not know we are here. No, Ethan said. They only see results. The lesson is enough. They will never forget it. Lucas Gray pointed to a frozen fleet. Thousands of ships stopped, hundreds of systems offline. The Empire cannot recover quickly enough. Ethan smiled. And that is how humans win. Not by fire, not by force, but by knowledge, by patience, by understanding the universe in ways others cannot. That is why the Empire is doomed. The Empire, proud and arrogant, continued to struggle, unaware that its collapse had already begun. Humans, calm and precise, moved quietly in the shadows. Their presence was never known, yet their influence spread everywhere. Peter Langley finally addressed his council. We were blind. We underestimated humans. And now we are paying the price. We cannot stop them because they are not attacking. They are only showing us who we never saw. Emperor Duran sat silently, finally realizing the truth. Humans had always been more than he imagined. Their strength was subtle, patient, and unstoppable. And for the first time in centuries, he understood fear. Far away, Ethan Cole looked at the galaxy. The Empire will never be the same.
They will rebuild, but they will remember what we showed them. Humans are not weak.
And now the Empire knows it. Emma Brooks leaned back. It is strange to see them panic without a single battle. Ethan smiled faintly. That is the power of humanity. Knowledge, patience, and observation can achieve more than fleets, weapons, or fear. That is what makes humans strong. And that is why the Empire is doomed. The Empire was in chaos. Then, fleets remained frozen in space, communication relays were dead, and vital supply routes had failed. Officials argued in every capital, and soldiers feared that the world they had trusted for centuries was slipping away. The Emperor, once proud and confident, sat quietly in his council room, watching reports flood in. Fear had replaced arrogance. Admiral Peter Langley shook his head. It is over, sire. The Empire cannot function. Their systems are beyond repair without understanding the cause. Humans, they did this.
Emperor Richard Duran stared at the stars beyond the window.
I underestimated them. I believed they were weak.
I was wrong. Peter nodded. They are not weak. They were patient. They were careful. They taught us a lesson we will never forget. Far from the imperial capitals, the human ship moved silently. Ethan Cole studied the galaxy as it responded to their actions. Every frozen fleet, every failed system, and every panicked planet was evidence of the Empire's blind spots. Humans did not attack. They did not destroy. They had only waited. Emma Brooks leaned over the navigation console. The Empire is collapsing faster than we expected. Entire sectors are isolated. Communication is gone. They are finally seeing what we always knew. Ethan smiled. Yes, and soon they will understand that humans are not weak, that strength does not always come from weapons, but from patience, understanding, and intelligence. Lucas Gray pointed to a fleet map. Thousands of ships are stranded. Thousands more are trying to regroup, but every effort fails. They cannot recover in time. Ethan nodded. And that is exactly what we wanted. The Empire is learning the wrong lesson. They cannot fight humans by conventional means. Humans have always been more than they imagined. In the Empire, pockets of resistance tried to organize fleets and repair systems. Soldiers shouted orders, engineers scrambled, but every action failed. The humans had never fired a single shot, yet the Empire's strength crumbled like sand slipping through fingers. On the planet Vespera, a colony that had relied on Imperial support found itself cut off. Supplies were gone, communications dead. Citizens panicked. A young teacher, Rachel Morgan, tried to calm them. We cannot control what happens to the Empire, but we can survive. We must trust in our own strength, not theirs. Her friend, Thomas Hale, nodded.
It feels like everything we depended on is gone.
The Empire is failing, but humans are not attacking us. It is strange. Why do they do this? Rachel shook her head. They are showing us something. Maybe they want us to understand strength in a different way. Back on the human ship, Ethan Cole spoke to his crew. We will make one final move. We will show the Empire that they do not need to fear us. That strength comes from knowledge, patience, and understanding. They will remember this forever. Emma Brooks watched as small human ships move through major Imperial sectors, helping restore basic functions on civilian worlds. They are helping people? Ethan nodded. Yes, that is humanity. We do not conquer for ourselves. We act to show truth. The Empire will understand it too in time. Lucas Gray smiled. Every fleet immobilized, every system confused, every planet affected, and yet no one was hurt unnecessarily. The lesson is clear. In the Imperial capital, Emperor Duran finally faced the reality. Humans, they were never weak, and I have led the Empire blind for centuries. Peter Langley said quietly, It is not too late to change, sire, but the Empire cannot return to what it was. The lesson humans teach is one we must never forget. Ethan Cole sent a final message to the Empire. It appeared on screens across multiple sectors. Humans are not weak. We are patient. We are clever. We do not conquer for power. We act to show truth. Remember this lesson, and the galaxy will be better for it. Misunderstand us again, and the consequences will be yours. The message left the Empire in silence. Soldiers, officials, and civilians read the words and felt their meaning. The arrogance of centuries was gone. Fear replaced it, but also respect. On distant planets, people whispered about humans. They are not what we believed, said one. They are stronger than we imagined. In the Empire, systems began to slowly recover, but the lesson remained. Humans had not destroyed, yet the Empire had fallen in spirit. Plans, fleets, and pride were all shaken to the core. Ethan Cole looked at the galaxy. The Empire has learned. They will rebuild, but they will never forget the lesson. Humans are not weak, and patience, understanding, and intelligence are stronger than fleets or weapons. Emma Brooks nodded. It is strange. We never fired a shot, yet the Empire fears us. Ethan smiled faintly. That is the power of humanity. We do not fight like others. We do not rely on brute force. We are clever, patient, and strong in ways others ignore. That is why the Empire is changed forever. Lucas Gray pointed to the star maps one last time. Every fleet immobilized, every system affected, yet no humans harmed anyone. The lesson is complete. Ethan nodded. Yes. And now we take our place quietly in the galaxy. Not as conquerors, not as rulers, but as guardians. The Empire will remember humans, not as weak, but as clever, patient, and unstoppable when underestimated. Back on the Imperial capital, Emperor Duran sat quietly. He no longer spoke of pride or power. The lesson of the humans was clear. For centuries, the Empire had believed strength was in weapons and fleets. Now they understood that strength could also be quiet, patient, and invisible until revealed. Across the galaxy, humans returned to the shadows, but their presence was known. Civilian populations had seen them. Soldiers had felt their influence, and the Empire had learned, finally, not to underestimate humans again. On the human ship, Ethan Cole looked at his crew. "We have done what was necessary. The Empire will rebuild, but differently. They will respect humans, and the galaxy will be safer because of this lesson." Emma Brooks smiled.
And the people? They saw us helping them.
"Will they remember?" Ethan nodded. "Yes, they will remember." Humans do not need fear to lead. Our strength is in patience, knowledge, and understanding. That is enough, Lucas Gray added quietly, and the Empire will never be the same. Their pride is gone, replaced by respect. Ethan Cole looked at the galaxy one last time. Humans have always been underestimated. That is our advantage. Patience and understanding are stronger than arrogance and fleets. The Empire has learned that lesson, and now the galaxy is better for it. The human ship moved quietly into the void. The Empire would rebuild, but humans had proven their strength without firing a single shot. The galaxy had changed, and humans had taken their place, not as rulers, but as guardians and teachers of a lesson long forgotten. For centuries, humans had been underestimated. Now they had shown the truth. Patience, understanding, and quiet intelligence could reshape the universe. The Empire had been doomed, not by weapons or war, but by ignoring the power that humans had always held. And the humans continued their journey, calm, precise, and unseen, leaving behind a galaxy forever changed, and an empire that would never underestimate them again. Some ships reported sensors that blinked and showed impossible readings, as if reality itself had wavered. In the Imperial capital, Admiral Peter Langley studied reports with growing concern. He rubbed his temples. This makes no sense. Systems are failing across multiple sectors, yet no enemy has been reported. How can that happen? Lieutenant Mira Benson replied.
Sir, our engineers have checked everything.
There is no virus, no sabotage, no hardware fault. Yet these failures continue. Peter frowned. Could it be humans? Are they attacking secretly? Mira shook her head. Humans are weak. They do not have technology to affect our fleets this way. Peter sighed. Then why is this happening?
Meanwhile, far away in a quiet corner of the galaxy, Ethan Cole watched the Empire with calm eyes.
The human ship had moved to a small system with abandoned colonies and old satellites. The humans on board were focused, quiet, and precise. Emma Brooks leaned over the navigation table. The Empire is panicking. They do not understand why their systems fail. Do you think they will figure it out?
Ethan shook his head.
No. They never notice what is important. They focus only on what is obvious. Their arrogance blinds them. Lucas Gray looked at the display. Some fleets are reporting total system shutdowns. Thousands of ships cannot move or communicate. Is this what we planned? Ethan nodded. Yes. We do not attack. We do not fire a shot. We simply exist in their shadows, and the Empire begins to unravel on its own. Back in the Empire, small rebellion cells started noticing the disturbances. On the industrial planet of Ventra, a technician named David Rowe was monitoring energy grids. "Something is wrong," he said to his friend, Angela Moore. "Power stations are failing, but there is no cause. Sensors show nothing unusual."
Angela frowned.
Could it be sabotage? Someone is trying to weaken the Empire quietly. Maybe they are teaching a lesson. Maybe they want us to see that weakness is not the same as defeat.
Back on the human ship, Ethan Cole addressed his crew.
The Empire will not fight us directly. They are too blind to see who we are. Their fleets are frozen, their systems fail, and their leaders are confused. That is all the victory we need. Emma Brooks asked, "And what about civilians? What if they suffer?" Ethan's expression softened. "Humans do not destroy without purpose. Civilian lives matter. We only show strength to those who thought weakness was easy to exploit. The Empire will learn, but the people will survive." Lucas Gray checked the maps one last time. Every major fleet immobilized. Communications down. The Empire cannot call reinforcements. They are finished. Ethan nodded. And now we move to reveal ourselves. Not to conquer, not to destroy, but to show that humans are not what they thought. That is enough to reshape the galaxy. In the Empire's capital, Emperor Duran received another report. Fleets are still frozen, sir, Admiral Langley said. Entire sectors have no communication. Civilian worlds are isolated. This is unprecedented. The Emperor's hands trembled slightly. How can this happen without war? Peter Langley looked him in the eyes. They were patient. They were clever. They used knowledge and observation instead of fleets and weapons. Humans have always been underestimated, sire. And now, the Empire is learning the cost. On a distant world, civilians watched strange lights in the sky. Ships appeared, but they moved silently and carefully. Humans were everywhere, yet not a single weapon was fired. Small landing parties arrived on major planets, showing themselves to the people, not the soldiers. A young engineer named Liam Carter saw them and gasped. They are humans? But they are so calm, so careful. They are not here to fight. But his friend, Alice Dunn, nodded.